Today I want to talk about a very important topic, and I think as medical students, we don't nearly talk enough about this. I want to express how lucky and grateful I am to be a medical student. And before I jump into it, let me tell you a little bit about what led me to feel this way all of a sudden. So I spent a week in a homeless shelter just this past week under my medical curriculum. My role there was basically to get to know how the organization works and talk to the different people who are using the service. So as you can see, this was a non-medical rotation. I wasn't really there to treat anyone's diseases. I wasn't there to get people's health history. I wasn't doing anything medical. I was just an observer and there to see how things are. So it was very refreshing to be in this kind of environment where I can just go in, have no stress, nobody is expecting anything from me, I have no related homework. I was just there to observe. That in itself I find already amazing because not many people in their lives have either the desire or the time or the opportunity to spend a week in a homeless shelter to see how things are. I'm incredibly lucky to be able to do that under my curriculum. And on my last day in this homeless shelter, I got to go on the shuttle bus that goes around downtown Montreal from one homeless shelter to the other, basically bringing people around to places where they need to be for free. Usually it's from either a day center to a night shelter, but it can also just be any place like a metro station or a McDonald's, for example. I was sitting in the front with the driver and the worker, and there are homeless people who are sitting in the back of the bus. And I was looking out the window, we're going around downtown, and suddenly I had this feeling of immense gratitude. This feeling of luck, privilege, just showered down on me. It wasn't really anything that was happening that triggered it. It was just a grounding realization. Just, wow, I'm on the bus right now with people that I normally would never find myself in the same bus with. And similarly, this entire week, I got to talk to people with all kinds of interesting background that normally I would never bother to talk to. And I walked into buildings that I normally would never set foot in. Just this whole week, I found the experience so extraordinary. And along the same line, I realized that I was able to do what I did this week because I was a medical student. It was part of my training. So this whole situation on the bus led me to look back in the past year where I have been moving through different rotations, and the amount of amazing things and amazing people I was able to encounter is really something that I should feel proud and privileged about. So to give you an idea of how I was able to put things into perspective on this larger scale, over the last year, my hands have been the first hand to hold someone's baby for the first time as it comes out into this world. I have been by the side of many women who are going through excruciating painful labors, yet I was also by the side of all those families as they're experiencing one of the most beautiful moments in their lives. I have seen families cry over their children's illnesses. I have seen children of 6 or 7 years of age cry and suffer in pain. Yet I have also seen the most resilient and strongest families in the face of a medical disease. I have talked to people who are cancer survivors, who are on dialysis, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, you name it. And for God's sake, I have held someone's heart as it beats in my hands. And not for once during that past year, or for that matter of fact, during my entire medical education, have I recognized to the same extent just how lucky I am. Also, during my medical rotations, I have had meaningful, fun, and interesting conversations with people that society would call crazy. And I have been to palliative cares and accompanied people and their families while they died. I have seen people at their worst, weakest, most vulnerable, yet I have also seen people at their strongest, most resilient, and courageous. All of that within a year. The year that is called medical clerkship. A year of opportunity no other than medical students can have. And incidentally, those 2 most beautiful years of experiences during our medical education happen also to be the most stressful 2 years because we're being evaluated on everything that we do. We have exams, and it is the time period where we choose our branch of specialization. There is a lot of stuff going on, and there is a lot of day-to-day stress, and I myself fall into this trap of a stressful life. I complain almost as much as I study, but it really helped me over the last week to have this humbling realization. These 2 years allowed me to have experiences that are just incomparable to anything in this world. It is all part of this training that goes into making a doctor who would eventually be taking care of our population. And knowing this, I feel honored and obliged in a way to give back to the community. To give back to the community who offered me this opportunity. And to acknowledge that I am one of the very few in this entire world who gets to experience life through that lens. So this is the message that I want to be sending out, is that medical school is hard, medical school is stressful. We've all had extremely difficult personal moments during which we saw no end, no light. But in the midst of this ride through this dark tunnel, I am extremely grateful, not only because I've had rewarding encounters with other patients, but as a whole, my experiences are so unique, and as I complete this last part of my medical student journey, I'm really happy to have had this grounding realization. And yeah, that's all. Thank you so much for watching.